Welcome to the Fall Split XLNC Light League Week 1, Day 1. My name is Mr. Moose, and I am joined here at the caster desk today by the one and the only, the man with the plan, the man with the axes if he doesn't have a plan, Axeman. How you doing today, man?
Moose, I'm embarrassed to admit that it normally comes to the axes more than I would like to admit, but yeah, I have a plan sometimes. Not today, though. Today it's the axes. All right, we're getting into game one here of this block of 3 between our two Light League teams for the Excellency Light League. It's Lotus Black and the Degenerates here, Moose.
Yep, Degenerates Ascension. Obviously, if you guys have been watching XLNC, maybe not obviously to you, but maybe if you guys have been here from last split, you guys know Degenerates Ascension. You guys know Lotus. It was Lotus White last season. They were the winners of the whole dang thing, and now they're looking to be able to make it a repeat here in this split. Change the name up, Lotus Black now. A complete pigment shift here today and in this tournament and in this split, but still, you've got some really strong players on Lotus Black. SmartPants77, an amazing jungler. Common Taco as well there, trying to be able to give Lotus another repeat win. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's get into the draft because they are ready to go, and we are so pumped to get started with game number 1. Braves, Jin, Viego, Tom Kench, Set, Caitlyn are the bans across the board between both teams. Lotus Black starting off with the Solar and Lunar duo themselves, Leona and Diana. After that's a name for sure. But gonna be rounding it off with the Shen in their first 3 picks, and then Degenerates gonna be picking up the Xin, the Thresh, and the Severe. So bottom lane already taken care of here for Degenerates. What do you think, Axeman?
Well, Moose, there's a lot of really strong champions that have been picked up so far in the draft. I want to point out especially Diana. Diana's super strong right now. Just got nerfed, actually, but it doesn't seem to have really stopped or even slowed down just how powerful this champion can be in that jungle position. You see it taken second pick here on the red side in response to that Xin Zhao, who is one of the strongest blue 1 picks so far in the meta right now, and it's also just incredibly easy to play too, right? You talk about champions like Viego, champions like Gwen are a little more difficult, but you might not see them as much in this elo. But Xin Zhao and Diana, man, you see them all the time, just as much as you do up in the higher echelons of the solo queue ladder. So we get to see these champions go head to head, and I'm excited to see it.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, we get the Shen as well. Something that we want to keep in mind, at least moving into this game in particular, Lotus Black, there's a lot of synergy between the Diana players, SmartPants77 and Common Taco. They played with each other in last split, and now they're going to be looking to make that repeat. The other 3 members of the team pretty much kind of still trying to figure things out, still a little bit newer to the org, or at least newer to the team. I was talking to SmartPants yesterday about it, and he said, you know, there's still going to be some synergy issues that they want to be figuring out. And so I'm really focused on seeing how the Diana and the Shen play well together. I mean, the Diana can just go in, gets the really good Moonfall, can knock everyone into her little zone of love, a zone of lunar destruction, and then get shielded to be able to get that extra little bit of damage. So that could potentially be a good little wombo combo there for Lotus Black if they're able to get it. Degenerates, on the other hand, as we get into the bans, Mordekaiser, Jarvan over here for Lotus, and then Tristana and Ashe, so a couple of ADCs coming in from Degenerates. Gonna be picking up the Poppy to go up against this Shen in the top lane. So I don't know. I mean, unless we get to a Stand United at level 6, I expect it to be a very stable and very not exciting top lane matchup. But there's going to be a lot of pressure, I think, on the bottom lane here. This Leona Jinx and this Severe Thresh. I think whichever one of these bottom lanes gets out on top in the early game can be really focused on who's going to be able to take this game.
I would tend to agree, right? And you talk about just the matchup between these 2 top laners and how it could be pretty slow. I imagine that's how High Elo would play this matchup here, but I don't know. Between Shen and this Poppy, I feel like they have the potential to really just go for each other's throats right from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's going to be Kale. Kale should be going mid, I would imagine, but we'll figure out where that's headed here in just a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm expecting it's either going to be a level 1 brawl up top side, or yeah, a little slow like you were talking about. But down the bot lane, these are some insane matchups. You got 2 very competent hyper carries down there, with Sivir kind of dominating the early and mid game, and Jinx starting to pop off there in the mid game to late. But two supports that are really, really competent at roaming, as well as just getting picks in lane. So it's going to be high octane from start to finish there in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, it's going to be, I think, start to finish really, really fun. And that brings up another point about, Degenerates Ascension. Last split, they were in contention to potentially get into the playoffs, but they weren't able to make it. Now, I was talking to Bixis, the ADC player for Degenerates, yesterday about, this split, wanting to be able to perform a little bit better than what they did last split. He's feeling extremely confident coming into this matchup. He thinks that he's going to be able to help push his team, along with the synergy that the team has. I mean, 4 members of Degenerates have played in a split together before, coming back into this one, and then they picked up a really strong mid laner in Heartstruck as well. So, I mean, they've got a lot of synergy coming into this one. There's a lot of confidence coming through on Bixis as the captain. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do on the Severe. He's going to be paired with the Thresh, and the Thresh, I mean, obviously going to be really safe. Not only does the Severe have the Spell Shield, but then also the Dark Passage coming through from Thresh to be able to get away from things. It's all going to boil down to, how does Morpheus and Adorable play in as that Jinx and Leona perform against them? But, I mean, you brought up, I think, another really good point as well. This isn't master level play. This is the light league. We got a lot of players in silver, a lot of players in gold. There's not going to be maybe that big high level, 5-head big brain play at the very beginning of the game. I don't know, but that's the joy of being in the light league, is that anything can happen. The chaos can be there, and it's going to be really fun to watch. I'm just excited to see how it actually plays out. Both these teams really trying to give it their all, winning the first block, trying to be able to get going strong. I'm excited to see how it plays.
Yeah, I am as well here, Moose. It's always good to see two teams going at it there in the first week of any league, because there's so many question marks on the table, right? Who's going to pop off? Who's been grinding the solo queue? Who's been practicing? Is there a new coach involved? New analysts? Are they taking a new approach to the game? And you won't really know until we get onto the Rift. So there's a lot of anticipation there, and a lot of nerves as well, right? Sometimes just the more disciplined side comes out on top, just through pure experience, just through that kind of level-headed and staying cool attitude. And we'll get to see all of that happen and unfold right here in front of us as we get through the last little bit of the draft. We're finishing up the actual draft here for you, and then we'll talk for the draft for about a minute or so, and then cut to a break before we get into the game. So you guys have a chance to get a drink of water, whatever y'all want to do before the game starts up. But before all that, let's talk about these comps a little bit more, what they're trying to accomplish overall. We talked about some matchups, right? But I think overall, at least what I wanted to bring up here first, Moose, is the pick potential here on blue side for the Degenerates Ascension. There's so much pick potential on this side with the Thresh, with Xinjiao, and especially with Syndra too, right? Unleash Power is a massive pick tool to be able to get a hyper carry down in the dust. It just so happens, Moose, Lotus Black has 2 very competent hyper carries there in the Jinx and the Kayle.
Oh yeah, the late game is definitely where I think Lotus Black wants to go. They've got a very strong laner in the Leona as well. But then on top of that, to deny the potential picks that come through, if we've got, Lotus Black being able to stay as a unit, if Degenerates isn't able to get that split push, isn't able to get, kind of the Shen out of the way, maybe get the Jinx or the Kayle down to the bottom lane or the top lane to be able to go for some split pushing themselves, that 5-man comp is dangerous. Kayle with the invulnerability on her ultimate, the shielding coming through from the Shen on the Stand United. Shen doesn't even have to be in the 4-man death ball to be able to still be there at a moment's notice. And so I really like the comp coming through from Lotus Black. I think that it is going to be really difficult if the early game goes bad for Degenerates, for them to be able to get into a point where the Severe is going to be really strong, where we get, 3 item, all that lethality coming through. I expect Dark Harvest from Vixis, but I mean, we're going to find out in just a moment. It really, if the team fights are able to be in Lotus Black's favor, if they get to that point where they're able to run and roam as 5, that invulnerability is going to be there, that shielding is going to be there, and I think it's going to be difficult for Degenerates to get the win.
I think it will be as well, and I agreed with the points you bring up there. I think it makes a lot of sense, and this Shen pick is going to be super powerful for Lotus Black as they move forward into the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Moose should be a good matchup.
Yep, absolutely. And we're going to take a little bit of a break before we get into it. So like you said, grab that water, grab those snacks, and we're going to be right back for game number 1, Degenerates Ascension versus Lotus Black. See you guys in a bit. And welcome back, one and all. Excellency Light League, day 1, week 1, game 1. Degenerates Ascension up against Lotus Black, Mr. Moose, and Axeman here at the caster's desk, ready to go. Axeman, we were talking about how important this early game and the bottom lane focus is going to potentially be on this draft. I'm really excited to see how both these teams are going to be able to perform early in this game.
Oh yeah, Moose. We are looking forward to this one. Like you said, it's first game. So both these teams with something to prove, and really not a lot of information on just how their opponent is going to behave here. Now we're already seeing an interesting adaptation. Both teams have gone for a 5-point. 5 points a little outdated. Normally we'll see junglers stack up top side with their mid laner looking to get some deep vision like we just saw there from the red side, although a little bit later than perhaps you're used to seeing competitive recently. But yeah, no traded deep vision back from blue side here, back from the Degenerates. So they will be down that information. Diana starting up top side, Xinjiao down the bot.
Yeah, and so that means, you know, both teams are going to have the different Scuttle Crabs on the end unless we get a cheeky invade somewhere, depending on how that plays out. Shout out as well to Hajime, going to drop off that ward of the blue buff, just making sure that there's no invades coming through. But yeah, nothing too crazy, I think, you know, in terms of the actual early game for both of these teams. Looks like it's going to be a full clear for Sweet Sadness. The guy with the PXL name, the Xinjiao, going to be playing with the Conqueror in this one, up against Smart Pants with the Conqueror as well. Common Taco and Hajime on the Shen and Poppy, going to pick up the Grasp of the Undying. Stone Maid Soft and Heartstruck. Stone Maid picking up the Fleet Footwork, actually, for the extra little bit of movement speed, and then Heartstruck picking up the Electrocute. And it is Vixis on the Severe picking up the Dark Harvest with Burn in Hell, playing on that Aftershock. Conqueror and Aftershock coming in from the Jinx and the Leona. So the only real, I guess, keystone, because maybe I'm not too familiar with, you know, the meta Kayle plays at this point in competitive, is that Fleet Footwork coming in from Stone Maid Soft. But other than that, looks like a fairly normal early game. Both teams starting off fairly consistent with each other.
For sure, I would say so. One thing I wanted to point out as well is the cleanse on Vixis. Just any AD carry into Leona should probably be taking cleanse. It necessitates that summoner spell just from that champion alone. There's way too much CC on that champion to be avoiding the summoner spell. So they got the cleanse, but apart from that, yeah, everything fairly standard there. I would go ahead and say that level 1 top side didn't end up happening. Just kind of went even, and they're going back and forth like you had guessed. It's going to be a pretty slow lane up top there for a while. One thing I did want to point out is that Heartstuck Brother, I don't know if he doesn't understand the matchup or doesn't understand, you know, range versus melee, but Stone Maid Soft is doing way too well in CS right now. Like, there's no way he should be up this far. There we go. A little bit of trading from the Syndra, but you got to make use of those ranged autos, right, to try and poke down the melee lane opponent, especially in the mid lane. It's just so free.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big deal. I mean, especially early on, you don't want the Syndra to get as much CS as possible, as it looks like the Diana's going in for some deep warding at the brush. Nothing too crazy there, but looking at top side, we are going to get the engage onto the Shen. A beautiful taunt, going to take first blood against Hajime, and now Sweet Sadness. Oh no, gonna go down as well. It's a double kill for Common Taco in the top lane, and now in the middle lane, a little bit of damage on to Heartstruck, but he will be able to get out of that one. A huge misplay early on. First blood in the Light League goes to Common Taco.
Yeah, it's a massive misplay there, and it traces back a little bit because they're not able to get the kill in that mid lane onto Heartstruck. brother. But yeah, Common Taco is far and away out in front right now with that double kill. That's a nice chunk of change right there. You get first blood gold alongside the 2 kills themselves. You're coming back into lane with the Bammy Cinder, which is quite the advantage, right? He also just isn't going to lose a lot of CS from this either. Everything's coming up Common Taco right now, Moose.
More like an exotic golden taco right now, on fire, muy caliente, as the cool kids would say. But he's going to have to continue to keep that going. It does mean, you know, a little bit of an advantage there in terms of gold. It equates to about 600 in the lead gold-wise for him against Hajime on the Poppy. That double kill there. And on top of that, it means that Smart Pants was able to get a little bit more around.
No way.
As it does look like a little bit of damage in the mid lane. A lot of damage potentially as the taunt does not come through. The flash from Stone Made Soft and the heal with a little bit of mana going to be able to get out of that one. Nice use of the E ability coming through from Hardstruck to be able to get away from Smart Pants. But Common Taco comes down for a pretty good roam. He had the minion wave pushed forward, and now going to be able to take that flash away from Hardstruck with very little health left.
Full agreement there. Common Taco is absolutely nuts right now, trying to force that advantage into that mid lane. Now, it's unfortunate for him. Stone Made Soft just didn't have enough health, but if he had, that would have blown this game wide open. As it stands, Kale still just shoving these waves in. I gotta say, Moose, I already made this point, but I'll make it again. There's no way Kale's up in CS in this lane right now. That does not make sense. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It's 3v3 down bot side here. See if a fight breaks out.
Maybe. It does look like we will get to see Stone Made Soft. He did use his teleport and push out the wave to try to go for that potential roam. Decides not to go for the roam, or go for a potential invade, or not an invade, but a gank and a potential all-in against Bixis and Burn in Hell. But instead, we'll be able to pick up the first dragon of the game. It's going to be a Cloud Drake coming through. So early Drakes are always fun to have, especially for a team that's going to love it in the late game. Wanting to be able to stack those dragons early on. We're going to get an Infernal Drake for Drake number 2. And Axeman, I got to ask you, because I like to ask my co-casters all the time, your predictions. Is it going to be an Ocean Soul or a Mountain Soul in this one, man?
It's going to be Ocean. I'll tell you how I know. It's because that plays exactly into Lotus Black's hands here as they continue to control this map as well as get their hyperscalers online. It's going to be... I don't even know if we're going to make it to Soul at this rate. The gold isn't particularly one-sided either way, but it's stacked in a very dangerous position right now for the Degenerates. Oh, here we go.
Mid lane coming through. We are going to get Divine Judgment getting used, but the knockup is there, and that's going to do it. You were talking about unleashed power executing carries, and there it is. Hardstruck Brother going to be able to get a kill in for the Degenerates.
Yeah, and hopefully he uses this, to get a little bit of that CS, take the reset, spend that gold, and come back in, start to force these advantages in this lane, and try to get something going in this lane because it hasn't been very good just on the 1v1. You like to see the Xin Zhao be able to help a lane like that. That's exactly what he should be doing, right? He's an early game jungler, very gank heavy as well, and if you can't get your lanes ahead with this jungler, there's not a lot of point in picking it. So he's definitely filling out that win condition for himself quite nicely. We'll see if he's able to keep up in CS with Smart Pants. Smart Pants should be pulling ahead here in just a little bit. We'll see what the Diana goes for, though. As far as pathing, looks like they're just taking that Scuttle Crab topside right now. Oh, yeah, going to be a little bit of fight, maybe.
Ooh, nope. Gonna walk away. Yep, gonna walk away from that one. And I like that idea. You know, Smart Pants only has the 2 amplifying tomes, and we're going up against, like you said, a very early game heavy as jungler in the Xin Zhao. You don't want to be going in for something that you might lose. You don't want to get him way into the lead, and then at that point, you know, it's bad news bears. So instead, just going to get that information, and then we'll go back. Going to be picking up 2 major items for his Mythic. Going to be able to pick up that Hextech Ultimator along with that Blasting Wand. With the Conqueror, I expect we're going to see the Night Harvester, but he could potentially still go for the Rocket Belt. Both options are still on the table for him at this point in the game. Early play to Steel Caps. That's going to be Common Taco's gold advantage right there coming through, picking up the extra armor that he's going to be needing for the potential ganks that Sweet Sadness is going to try to go for. But other than that, looking like everyone else is doing pretty well. Shout out to Morpheus with that 10 CS lead in the bottom lane on the Jinx. Picks up the Noon Quiver. A Caulfield's coming in for Vixus along with that Tear of the Goddess, which is really good. As it does look like maybe we might get something. Heartstuck Brother trying to be able to find the stun onto Stonemaid Stoff, but won't be able to get it, so nothing too crazy happening there. And so we get a little bit of a stabilizing factor here for Degenerates. Gets it back to a tie game in terms of gold, 14K.
Morpheus is really filling out his win condition effectively. Yikes, that damage from Vixus. Ooh, yeah, a little pull there coming out. Fight breaking out all over the map.
you look at, oh my goodness, woo! I can't even say that. Oh, what a flash. Morpheus LDN with the flash and the heal. And then we got the Dark Passage coming in from Burn in Hell to be able to get Sweet Sadness out of the way. You know, I was a little nervous there. My heart skipped a beat.
Yeah.
Morpheus with the reflexes to get out of that one.
Yeah, I saw he was going down there for sure, Moose, but able to get out with the flash. That's what it's for. It's why you take it. And he is able to escape there. They also prevent too many plates from getting taken down. With Adorable there, the threat of that CC under turret is just too much. Even 3v1. So you can see just how strong this champion is and why teams are picking it up so often. Just the unleash power. Ooh. No balls there, but
what a play coming through, as we do get a little bit of miscoordination coming through, as we do get the potential engage coming in from Stonemaid Soft. Will not have his ultimate ready to go. We are going to get Sweet Sadness using his ultimate, but the Diana under tower going to be able to use the dash to get out and will survive. Gets the kill on to Hardstuck, and the flash on to Sweet Sadness is gonna get Taco on a killing spree. And on top of that, they've got the Rift Herald that they immediately pop. The jungler, the mid laner, both down, and this could potentially be first turret at 12 minutes in. Oh no, maybe not, maybe not. Shelly is only gonna get 2 turret plates down, but regardless, gonna force a teleport out, and a huge play coming in for Lotus Black.
Oh, Moose, what a play it was, too. So many advantages gained just in the last minute or so here for Lotus Black, but a teleport coming through now. 4v3 over the Dragon. We'll see if they can get this objective here. They seem a little hesitant. Maybe wanting to back off, clear the minions down bot side. Not too sure. Yeah, maybe
nothing
just
too crazy happening just yet, as it does look like we might be seeing a potential collapse coming in from Degenerates. They maybe want to go in against Lotus, and they're going to try to go for it. They're going to be able to get a little bit onto the Leona, but a huge moonfall from the Leona is going to get so much damage. Shin's going to take one, and it's going to look like it's going to be Syndra taking another one to the Diana. It's going to be Thresh going down, Burn in Hell will die, and Vixus will get a kill onto the Jinx, but won't be alive for long. It's going to end up being Vixus still alive for the time being, but the taunt will land on a Hajime. Stonemaid Soft is going to get the 4th kill, and it is 4 kills for 2 in favor of Lotus Black.
They're off to the races now, Moose. I don't think anything's going to stop them. The gold lead still isn't all that large, but keep in mind where the gold is stacked, right? 404 on this Shen, just massive, and also some pretty competence. Oh man, Kamitaka might go down here. This is a big shutdown as well.
Oh, if he can get it, that's a 400 gold bounty, but no. Nice Zenith Blade coming in. The Boomerang Blade does not get it, but so close, Axeman. Bixus really wanted it. He has not died yet this game. 1-0-1. That would have been a huge shutdown. No one gets the dragon yet. But like you were saying, I mean, off to the races right now for Lotus Black. A couple of kills coming in for everyone across the board, but Taco just getting those diamond hands right now. 4-0 and 4, 100% kill participation at about around the 1330 mark.
Yeah, and it does look like the Degenerates are going to be able to pick up this second dragon now, so breaking up the dragon onslaught from Lotus Black. So good on them to be able to pick that up. Honestly, I figured Lotus Black would be back on the map in time to contest, but apparently not. They're going to focus around the top side instead and start to look for some vision control, I guess, map control up there maybe. But yeah, no, to be honest, I feel like they really could have gotten that dragon. Heartstuck Brother in trouble now.
Gonna try to get out of that one. Will be able to avoid the Crescent Strike, and so will be just fine. As it does look like maybe Sweet Sadness not going to be able to get the Wind Becomes Lightning on to that. So not going to be able to get any sort of kills there. And, you know, shout out to Axeman. You know, first Dragon pick. Absolutely right. It is going to be an Ocean Soul here today. You know, your powers of foresight are definitely online, starting off the splits. We're going to keep track of that today. We'll see if we go 3 for 3. We'll find out.
All right, sounds good. So I got that first one down pat, and it's just my color caster superpowers there. But Kamatako in onto Hajime, gonna back off. I'm in trouble now.
Damage coming in. Hajime still has Keeper's Verdict ready to go if need be, but we are going to get the Crescent Strike and it come in onto the Moonfall. What damage! Kamatako will end up going down to Sweet Sadness, but it's Smart Pants, 77 there. Kamatako and Smart Pants ready to go, getting the 2 kills, making it a 2 for 1.
Great stuff there to be able to get the shutdown gold off of Kamatako. You like to see that, and that'll be helping Xinjiao out a little bit. He goes to 1-4-1 for the play, though, so maybe not worth it. I'll leave that up to you, viewer. Regardless, Kamatako's in the death realm for the next 5 seconds. He'll be coming back up and trying to match up with this Poppy. Walking back into lane. Shouldn't miss too much from that death. But like we mentioned, that shutdown goal is something else.
It's something at least. I mean, you know, gives the jungler, gives Xinjiao his mythic item. Gonna have the first mythic of the game for Degenerates. It is gonna be that Gore Drinker. 2 mythic items online for Smart Pants and Kamatako. Gonna end up going for the Hextech Rock the Belt. So I like the choice. You know, being able to get that extra dash in, always really good if you're competent with it. And then of course we got the Frostfire Gauntlet coming in from Kamatako to get that slowing in. Nashor's Tooth picked up by Stonemade Soft for that first item there. And then we've got the Manamune for Bixis ready to move into that Muramana fairly soon. But yeah, looks like maybe something's going on here in the bottom lane as we do get the solo player into the death sentence. Oh, but not quite enough. They don't want to commit to that one. Does end up using a teleport out of Hajime, so kind of a misuse of that teleport, or maybe just using it to disengage, but unfortunately, not really getting much out of it.